So as you can tell, the studio room is not quite ready yet. I've been digging through a lot of our old bits and pieces of memorabilia and lore and stuff that has been in our lives for a long time, and it got me reminiscing about some of the old car stories that we would share with one another. Obviously, you guys know about stuff like my $140 ticket in my IS300, or when I successfully got away from the police in the Evo. But there's a story that I realized I never shared here, but I shared it on Reddit like 4 years ago. And I was reminded of it because that was 10 years ago when the story took place, and I've never shared it. So today, I want to share one of my coolest encounters with an Air Force veteran, but also in one of the most interesting cars that I've ever been a passenger in. What's up everybody, how's it going? My name is Nick Lanza and this is Car Rant. If you're new around here, we do builds, reviews, and have candid conversations about cars and car stuff like what we're doing today. So if any of that sounds interesting, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. Also, if you like what we do here but want to see some of our behind the scenes and, well, rather unhinged behavior, go check out Car Rant Extra. It's where all of our bloopers go. We're actually going to be uploading bespoke content just for that channel here in the new season. And we just released our season 10 B-reel, which is quite hysterical, but not exactly safe for this channel. We don't want to risk monetization here. So if you want to check out that stuff we can't post here, that's the place to look. Without further ado, let's talk about my time working in retail. It was about 10 years ago now when I was still working in retail. I had just left my job at Under Armour as a sales associate and picked up a new job working for Bose. For those not familiar, Bose is a very big company. Even though a lot of people only know them for their audio, they also did a lot of work with research and development in general. They're a privately owned company, they don't have stocks. And as a result, their employees get treated pretty nice and get some nice little benefits. So if you're ever looking for a job, they're a place to look. In fact, one of the coolest innovations I think they've ever made was the Bose suspension. It's one of the most interesting things they ever developed. It never saw the light of day, but a lot of that technology got turned around and used in stuff like ambulances. So check it out, it's pretty interesting. Well, it was a very slow day at work and we had just unveiled the Bluetooth SoundLink Mini. It was a tiny square box-like thing. It was meant to be a direct competition for the Beats Pill and stuff like it. It has a very distinct shape. It's not quite rectangular because it's round at the top and bottom, but it has that rectangular-esque shape to it. It's not very deep, and it actually put out a good amount of sound for how small it was. We would use it all the time when we were cleaning in the store. In addition to this, they gave the SoundLink Mini tons of accessories to make sure that it had what it needed in order to be successful. Their own bespoke cases, car chargers, adaptable stands that can charge it and you could just put it back on there and it'll recharge itself. It was a really cool little invention for the time. Well, one day it was a really slow day at work and this gentleman walks in and he asks for a very specific favor, and he very clearly stated that he wasn't sure I'd be allowed to do this. My manager's in earshot. Ryan, hi, how you doing? I know you watch the channel still. He kind of like perks up when I see him in the corner and he says, I need to borrow one of your units outside the store. Now at this point, Ryan walks over and is like, all right, what is your actual request? Because that's kind of a strange thing to ask of us. He says, I have a Fiat 500 Abarth and I need to see if this speaker is not only loud enough but big enough to fit a space in the dash. Now we kind of looked at each other and wasn't really sure what was going on, but Ryan, knowing that I was a car guy, he knew I was itching to see what this was all about. So he said, all right, listen, you can do this, but you have to take my employee with you and he has to keep the technology with him at all times. Guy said, great, let's go outside. So I walk out with him. It's a good walk to the curb and we're chatting back and forth. Come to find out, this is not a Fiat 500 Abarth. This is an original Fiat 500 from Turin, Italy. This guy was an Air Force vet who was stationed in Italy and Germany for a really long period of time and bought this car and kept this car. He was the original owner of this car in Europe and brought it back home with him. So naturally it had nothing. There were no power windows, there were no power steering, there was no air conditioning because the Italians believe that AC will give you bronchitis. It had no radio. Instead, there was a hole in the dash where you could put stuff, like an Atlas or something. Because again, the Fiat is not a big car, it's very, very small, and this one did not have any sort of real back seat to it to stash anything. So if you had a map, you would have put it in the dash. It also was, of course, a convertible, and being a nicer day, he dropped the top and we climb into the car and he turns around and goes, all right, so I need you to put the speaker there. Put the speaker there. It was a perfect fit. It was as if someone from Bose said, I have this car, I need a radio. Let's make this radio this exact shape and size and stash this little guy in there. Now, this was not enough for this gentleman because, of course, just because it fit didn't necessarily mean it was loud enough. And of course, I already knew this meant we were going to go for a ride. I'm already geeking out over this really cool little Italian car that can, and now we're connected to the speaker blasting the Eagles Hotel California going 40 miles an hour through the parking lot. Because that was about as fast as that little car could go. And what was amazing to me was how nimble the car was. It was visceral, it was go-karty. It was a lot of fun. And as a passenger, this is my first time in a properly foreign car. I had only experienced it in games, so being in a car that was an actual foreign car was such a cool experience for me as 18, 19, 20-year-old me, because I just had never experienced that before. And to add to this, he was the coolest customer. He bought everything. I got a fat commission out of that. Like, I had easily the best day at work ever, because here I am jamming a Hotel California in the parking lot of my job, just having a blast with this older gentleman. And I believe he even came back repeatedly over the years to get more and more stuff for it, because he had set up the car to have like a normal outlet in the car so he could keep the thing in it and keep it charged all the time. And for me, that is what really started me on my way to owning the Evo, because only about 2 or 3 years later, Rika was being dropped off in front of my house from Florida. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story. I felt like sharing it because we don't really get to share a lot of car stories here, and that's really what we're all about, is making memories with the vehicles that we love. And for me, this started a passion in me that is still affecting me even now, because now I'm currently trying to get my dual citizenship with Italy and learning Italian, and potentially seeing whether or not we can actually have Car Rant also do stuff in Italy. So it's just cool how that one experience with this little Italian car has affected my life in so many ways. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this little bit of story time. If you did, leave me a like, and down in the comments, let me know what you guys have for these cool little stories like this, your first encounter kind of thing. I would love to hear it. I love having good conversation and community down in that section. So without further ado, thank you all for watching. God bless you all. And hopefully next time I film in here, there'll be something on these walls. We'll see you guys next time.